welcome back to the Potty Mouth Garden Club. Jess, you're keen. You're waving before I've even finished. How are you doing? Are you well? Are you good?
Yeah, good.
Actually, you were the first. You were the first on as well.
I know. Normally, I'm the last one
I
here,
know.
like racing, and today I'm on it.
It's all calm. Are you good? Are you well? Is everything?
Yep, all is good. The weather's a bit pants today, but we had sun yesterday, so I'm not complaining.
Right. Oh, well, it's nice. It said on our weather forecast a couple of hours of cloudy this morning, and we've just told the dogs there, and it's brutally hot, to be honest. So,
Is it?
well, t-shirt boy. You know what I mean. I'm kind of.
Wow.
So, what is brutally hot to you, Tony?
Oh, 18.
Oh,
What's that?
You're so cute.
No, I know it was 20. It was 23 in the car, Audrey. 23 in the car.
Oh,
Mind you,
roasty.
Because we've got the Prince, the dog as well, the daughter's dog, and they were just panting. And it's only a mile with the 4 dogs from where we walk them back. You know what I mean? But obviously the car that's way too hot for them, and I had all windows open. You know what I mean? But 23 is hot for us, Audrey. Cooking on gas.
Yeah, just checking.
So, Jess, everything all planting, everything going good, garden going good?
Yeah, it's all good. Slugs still an issue.
Yeah, God, that's going to be one of my main topics. I've got
a lot to talk about on the slug front. So,
Audrey,
yes,
how are you
sir.
doing? How are you doing?
Very good.
23 Celsius is not hot for you.
It doesn't scare me. Let's put it that way. When we get near 30, then I'm like, okay, now it's hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we did that heat. We had a heat wave about a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, and that was 35 or something, and just unbearable for me.
Yeah,
I like it warm.
41 it hit here on that.
Did it?
Wow. It's the hottest it's ever recorded in this area. It's literally, we went to the cinema to sit in the aircon and walked out, and it was like hitting a wall of heat. Like it felt physical.
The air gets thick, doesn't it? It's like the air is thick when it gets that hot.
Yeah.
You cook eggs outside with that. Mind you, there's one person I don't think knows what them kind of temperatures are.
It was at least double digits here in Scotland. At least double digits.
At least
11 or 12. How are you doing, Mark? It's lovely to have you back on.
Yeah, all good. Good to be back on. Feeling the pressure in JB's spot.
Yes, JB's actually he's off again there, sunning himself. So
isn't it just?
Yeah.
Mark, lovely to have you. How's things since last time, Mark? How's the garden? How's the allotments?
All right.
Because the last time I think we spoke, you were you said to us in our little kind of private chat, you were just taking you're taking a foot off the gas.
Yeah, I had about two or 3 weeks off the whole sort of YouTube sort of thing, kind of gardening in general. And I wish I hadn't, because everything was behind. And I've been playing catch up ever since. But everything's really good now. Like I reckon the last 2 weeks it has been sort of mad planting out session. I've been trying to empty the greenhouse. It's still got stuff in it, but I'm trying to get it empty, get everything out. Everything's looking good, apart from, like Jesse was saying, the slugs, man. Honestly, what a nightmare this year.
It sounds like it's all over, because I've seeing people's comments. As soon as you mention just a couple of slugs on a video, you get loads of comments saying and I think it was Dan, Dan Allotment Diary. He's been having trouble as well. Do you know what I mean? And it seems to be all over, to be honest.
Yeah. I had my first snail.
Right.
You guys saw that in our WhatsApp, right? I was like, I had a snail.
Oh, it's really cute.
Cute little snail.
Yeah.
Cute little
right
snail.
Off the street of JB saying, "Oh no, my peppers are too big."
Yeah.
That falls into the same category.
Yeah. So, Orion, the big question is, what did you do? Did you just name it and keep it as a pet, or did you do the allotment garden shuffle?
I did nothing with it because I saw nothing else around it, and I thought he was quite little and cute. Wasn't like those horrible ones I've seen you guys pick off things. He was so I just left him.
I launched them at the nearest wall.
I would too if I had as many as you did, but I thought, so I took his picture. That's what I did.
Well, I've definitely getting more snails than slugs. I'm still getting slugs, but you know what I mean, kind of enough. And the ones, you know, you see like a really big fat one, and you think, how on earth did that get, you know, because you do pick them up, you stand on them, you get rid of them. But then there's these big mothers come in. But again, it's been snails are just like
you've
every
got
time
a
I
wall,
go.
though, haven't you, Tony? At your allotment, you've got a wall. I think somebody was telling me, it was a couple of weeks ago, it was a plant swap sort of thing. There was a guy there, you know, he's a farmer, and he was saying that snails like walls. So if you've got a wall nearby, the snails will be about. But if you don't have walls and you've just got slugs.
Right. Well, yeah, because Mark, we've got the same wall. It's the same stone throughout the village. And I was saying last week, you know what I mean? It's like a little porn hub in our wall here for snails. It's ridiculous, you know what I mean? So it's the same kind of, so it's just like it's a knocking shop. It's filthy.
You need to put some blue lights up around it.
No,
let them all know. So slugs and snails are related, aren't they?
I think snails are just slugs with shells, aren't they? Pretty much.
That's kind of what I thought.
That's truly a schoolboy answer, Mark.
I know. I'm thinking they've got to be related.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to say
they're not a nice shell.
Or they're not all like from the mollusk family, but I might be getting
They're
that wrong.
Mollusks,
I might be making that up.
They must be quite fundamentally different because, I mean, other than the house on its back, but they've got
Audrey's gone.
Oh, goodness, look at that.
Gone.
What did I do?
Oh, yeah.
I did nothing. I'm just sitting here.
Right.
Elgato, what?
Is that your webcam? You've got an Elgato face cam.
I do.
Yeah. Well, come back in, Audrey. Just come back in, and then we'll if you would just hear your gorgeous tones.
Oh, you're hilarious. Thank you.
So, what were you saying? Oh, it's hot down London there. Look, Jess. Whoa.
Just look at that. Roasting.
That's weather. I'm suddenly absolutely boiling.
Right.
I don't know why.
So, Jess, you were saying there must be...
Because nematodes, like the slug nematode, only works on slugs, like it doesn't work on snails. So they must be sufficiently different for them to have different parasites and stuff.
The only other interesting thing that I learned about slugs not too long ago is that they've got like thousands of teeth, like inside their mouth, like not just like us, like with a few, but thousands
it's
all
like
the way
rasp,
around,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Is this slugs and snails have got the teeth, or just slugs?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
That's advanced.
We'll just say slugs. I should just said yes and just after like
no one would
an authority on it. If you say it confidently enough, everyone believes you. Yes, they've got teeth.
You ordered some of the nematodes. What was that?
Nobody Googles snail's teeth. I've just done it. Don't do it.
No, I'm not. No, everyone's going to now. You know, Jess. Everyone now.
You tab snail's teeth.
My viewing figures have just went. Man. So, and what's anything else? Anything happening? Jess, have you been Mark was saying there he's kind of still not struggling to get everything out because he's a little bit, he took the foot off the gas. Is everything sorted now or not?
I've reached the point in the year, which happens every year, where it's like the beginning of summer, like June hits and suddenly I feel really behind because I think more should be outside and going on than it is, because like at the moment, up until now, the beds have been really full because we had a lot of stuff growing over winter. We had like all the chard, the chicory, loads of the brassicas and everything, and they've just like finished and they've been whipped out, or they're being whipped out, and suddenly things are starting to look really empty. And although I'm planting loads of stuff out from the greenhouse, it's all tiny, so it's suddenly like panic stations where it just looks like it's a disaster zone.
On the reverse of that, though, Jess, I'm feeling quite cathartic about having empty beds. Do you know what I mean? Because I've still got some empty beds, and it's like, I'm not even going to stress about it. You know what I mean? Always this year was always going to be like a foot off the gas. But I've got 2 lots, and I've still got sweet corn and some beans to go out. But that's it. And I've got some chard that's actually picked itself up because I thought I'd lost it. But it'll be a few months and I might put some salad in or something. And haven't done a video for, I think, about 8 days. So it's quite, you know what I mean? I'm kind of not stressing about it. You know what I mean? So, Audrey, how's you need spreadsheets for the amount of stuff you're putting out.
I do. And we're really getting stuff in. Like I was out in the garden all morning before showing up here. And so it's tomatoes are getting in, peppers, eggplants, like it's all going in today.
Wow.
So I'm hoping to clear off a whole lot of table today
Mhm.
and just get it all planted. And then you can take a little bit of a breath.
That's
Not a big one.
Well,
Not
that's
a big one,
that's
but a little one.
that's what I'm in there now, Audrey. I feel like I'm kind of, I've done me stuff, and I can just write.
Yeah.
There will be other things I'm sowing and stuff like that, but yeah, that little kind of.
Are you able to harvest anything yet?
I've got tiny chilies on, and I've got green tomatoes on, but nothing kind of
Okay.
worth nothing. I'm trying to think. No.
We just harvested a boatload of peas this morning.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
Right.
beautiful. They're beautiful.
Mm.
And my asparagus is almost done. So, yeah, strawberries should start coming in soon, I think.
I think it's that, Audrey, that's like why I always feel a bit, oh God, at this time of year, is because up until now there's been still loads to pick, like the
Right.
asparagus and stuff. It kind of tides you over, like you still think things are happening, and then when you clear it, now you've got to wait a couple of months, before everything, or at least a month before everything's really back up again and you can start picking.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. My peas are getting hit by. Is there a pea weevil? Is that where the little kind of triangle? I'm just trying to keep an eye on it. I'm not. I mean, I don't think there's. Is there anything that can? I don't think there's a kind of chemical that can kill it. I was
Unless that
reading.
neem oil. Maybe some JB have that neem oil. That usually stops like fly kind of things eating into stuff. Might be worth a shot.
I mean, it's like it's a definite, that kind of scissor cut, like the little triangle kind of nibbles there, and I was like, oh, yeah, little bug like this. Do you know what I mean?
Something.
Oh, it is. There's always something at something, but mind all Jess, we talked about leaving veg, and it dies a horrible death. Once you've planted up, and you've always got like 2 or 3 left. Mine are just kind of stripped bare by the pigeons. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, really?
I mean, I wasn't. That's it. I've used them, and the ones that I put in, luckily enough, have all survived. Because sometimes for me, you put them in, and you think this is gonna be, and then a couple of days later, there's one like just being bitten off or limping through. So,
I mean, I'm going to touch wood here, or touch whatever that is,
yes,
but it's my beans have gone out this year, and they're actually often I get that bit with beans, when you chuck them out and they really sulk.
Mm-hmm.
They just completely stop for like a couple of weeks before they get themselves going. Doesn't seem to have happened this year. Like they've hit the ground running, so I seem to have timed that quite well. And normally, at least half of them get bitten off at the base.
Yes,
the moment they go out, and so far, touching everything doesn't happen.
I used shop bought beans from a garden centre nursery, and they did exactly that, Jess. 2 weeks of like sulking, and they're just now starting, like you can see them starting to curl round. It was just like, you know how you try and help them by, like if I thread them round the stick, the cost.
But they don't grab; they just hang there.
Yes,
like this.
yes. Oh.
It's like, hold on to it, you little bastard.
That's exactly because they've got that kind of roughness, and you think it would just like latch on. Stay there, but no.
Yeah.
Just in the huff.
Mark out what's going on up in them Isles of Scotland and the Outer Hebrides.
Bye. What isn't going on? It's all go. Busy time of year. It's been non-stop.
So is tomatoes in and peppers in the polytunnel?
Polytunnels all planted, finished, done.
Right.
Peppers, cucumbers, chilies, tomatoes, aubergine, all in there, all done. Good going. And in the greenhouse in the garden, I've just put some quad grows in as well. So I had some spare plants.
Right.
I couldn't bring myself to put them in the compost. They looked good, and I was like, should I put them in the compost bin, or should I have a chat with Ian and see if he's got any quad grows? So I had a word with Ian, and he's like, I'll do a deal. So I got a deal, and he gave us some quad grows. So I got the quad grows in. So it's a bit expensive just to rescue, 8 tomato plants, but it's worth it. It's going to be good. Yes.
I was honestly, Mark, I was doing the same thing the very next day, and I got a call off my daughter's friend. Tony, have you got any more? He's like spare tomatoes for my grandma. Well, I was just like, I'll take them tonight. Do you know what I mean? Because I was literally going to just like, And I know that's, it made our day. Do you know what I mean? Because you couldn't find them anywhere in our little, like the shops, like say the Aldi's and stuff like that. That had nothing like that. And I don't think she would go. She was getting on, bless her. She's getting on. So she wouldn't go to a garden centre because she would have to get a taxi there, and it was just. But they were lovely sight, and it kind of made you just feel like, oh yes, because I would have chucked them. Do you know what I mean? And just all the kind of like the pork chop ones, the nice ones, like
sure.
So felt.
Well, I've never put in tomatoes so small before. The tomatoes were my peppers and tomato plants are these little teeny. I mean, they have leaves, but I'm like, I've never put anything so small in the ground. But I'm like, well, it's sink or swim time, dudes. So you're going in, and I'll give you water, but you're on your own now. You're out here in the world. But I've never had stuff so small.
Right. Actually, this week I've been putting stuff out, not things like tomatoes and peppers and things. They are way off at the moment. And there's no polytunnel to put them in anyway. So moving on.
There you go.
But a lot of the stuff that I've been putting out, I've had a really hard time getting stuff past its seed leaves this year for some reason. Like we were talking about this the other day. It's like, and it's not it's not compost, because when I look back on my records, what there are of them, and it's like they're coming up in different composts, and the turnips were exactly the same as what I'm having with the beetroot, which is they come up, they look really fine, but the seed leaves are just not developing. I mean, the true leaves are just not developing. So I've chucked all the turnips out that didn't have any true leaves. Obviously, they were absolutely minuscule. And now they've taken off really, really happily. So I've just done the same thing with all my little tiny beetroot babies. But they've been in there about 6 weeks and not developed beyond that point.
Well,
so
it's funny, that's exactly what I just said before there. My chard kind of failed a little bit, but it seems to be, they've been weeks and weeks they've been sown. And they were sown in the clover compost, you know what I mean, in a heated greenhouse and everything like that. And again, little tiny leaves, and they've just stood there. And I was thinking, wow, that's good. Because I cannot blame Silver Grow for that, because it's been, the other,
It's been like 3 different composts that I've used this year, not doing a test or anything. It really has just been whatever I had or whatever I could get hold of. And the same result, like it's something else that's affecting them. I'm not sure what it is, but.
Did anyone see the picture of JB's little tomato test? With his I'm right in thinking it was the Silver Grow that was the much better
miles ahead.
Do you know what I mean? So to be honest, I haven't got a clue with the compost. Do you know what I mean? It's just like JB seems to whatever he's got inside. He's got some help somewhere. Do you know what I mean? He's got the really good. Don't tell anyone about the good stuff.
Back out the back.
Stuff.
Old grade. He's got supply.
And it was a night and day, because I honestly thought when I seen the picture and I was typing, thinking I can clearly see which ones, and then I read on. You know what I mean? I was like, oh God, it's the Silver Grow that's doing amazing.
Yeah.
So,
but he does amend it, which I didn't realise. So when he's using it, he mixes in bloodfish and bone and vermiculite, and I think perlite. Which
he did that with the test as well.
Do you know what I don't think he did with the test? I'm not sure, but I know when he's been using it, that's what he does. Because although it's got Osmocote in it, the Osmocote is like a really, really slow release pelleted fertilizer, so it's perfect if you're potting up sort of a big rose into a big pot that's going to be there for years, but for small stuff, not so much. So I've been trying to kind of adapt and make up a bit more of a mix. So I've been mixing in my own compost, a bit of bloodfish and bone and a bit of Silver Grow. And I think I'm sort of slowly coming on to something which is going to work, which is handy, like 2nd of June.
Yes.
Earlier.
Well, it was on, it was either Beach Grove or Gardener's World I was watching this week, and they were saying they start feeding, apparently it says on the compost bag, I should probably actually read a compost bag at some point instead of just buying it and using it, and said start feeding as soon as 3 weeks after you've started using it.
Yeah,
and I never realised it was that soon.
This. But one of the ones that JB bought as part of his test ones, I can't remember which one it was, but it says don't use in pots. on the like in the small writing on the compost bag. Like,
Oh, what do you know which one that was,
I
Jess?
can't remember. He was like obviously like ranting on about how they were all different and terrible quality, some of them. But yeah, this one's just like it says normal garden compost, but not potting compost,
for
and it says
pots.
on it don't use in pots.
Right.
So don't know
Well,
what
it's funny, you know, I went to my mum's today to take a couple of plants. We potted up some plants for her birthday, and she's got like this little, well, it's a heavy little tub, what she refills every year with like some bulbs. And she says, now it's Tony, will you? She says, will you take that compost off the top? She's went and bought some compost just to put like a new layer on. She says it's that peat-free muck and it's useless. I mean, it's just there's nothing there. It's just, you know, she put it on just to kind of cover it, just to make it look, you know, before anything goes in it. But it didn't even get a chance to do its shine or anything. You know what I mean? It wasn't anything. Get rid of it, Tony. Get rid of it. So, yes.
There's a massive difference in some of the peat-free ones. Some of that, like I've tried all sorts this year. Silver Grow's the main one I go to. But if I'm filling a bed or something like that, I'll get cheaper stuff. You don't want to spend like £8-9 a bag to fill a bed full of it. But like some of that was at Levington's, I think it was. I got was at the garden centre. It was 2 for £10, and I should have known 2 for £10's not going to be great anyway. And I opened it was full of just bits of wood, and I think they put coir in it. And there was loads of stringy sort of coir bits in it and stuff like that. It was blooming awful.
Mm-hmm. Would you rather put, say, peat, any kind of peat, you know what I mean, peat-free peat? Would you rather do like bags or make homegrown?
I try to do homegrown. I'm just not very good at compost. I mean, I try, and I got a hot bin, and that hot bins are good. I think if you're good at hot binning, then it's good. But for me, because I'm so busy with work and family life and stuff like that, like this hot bin, you've got to feed it all the time. You've got to stir it. You've got to do this. You've got to do that for it to work.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to really be on top of it. Whereas I'm more just to sort of chuck it in the thing, leave it for 3 years, and then come back and see if there's anything there.
Well, that's exactly
playing the long game.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, I don't know if you ever seen one of my videos. I copied off you. You know when you were talking about Monty Don with his carrot seed.
Oh, the carrots, aye.
And I did exactly what you said. It was a nice soil, and I just mixed in seeds, and I actually mixed in a bit of a mix. Honestly, I'm not joking now. I've left them because it'll make a good like picture. The weed blanket is just unreal. And it's because it's like homegrown, you know, and Jeff has mentioned once, sometimes it's like a forest and you've got to like side that down.
Aye.
And it's it might be amazing stuff, but it's certainly, you know, there is not one carrot seed there. Do you know what I mean? And there was a few put in within this mixture, but everything's just been swamped by.
That's what I'm worried about with this mixing up our own compost with the potting compost, because you just know it's like,
I don't mind. For me, Mark, Audrey, Jess, I don't mind. Say, you know, if you can get a couple of bags for like a £10 or £12 and thinking, well, treat that better this year. Do you know what I mean? And actually, for a couple of weeks, it looks lovely, doesn't it? You know what I mean? And then whatever's blowing onto it starts to, you know what I mean? The odd dandelion comes, and you think, well, but
the one thing.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the one thing I can actually make is leaf mold. So we've at the bottom of our garden, we've got 4 giant, and I mean giant, lime trees, and they drop so many leaves in the autumn. So I just go and scoop them all up, and I've got a big like wire cage, and I just chuck them in there, and you need to do nothing with it. And again, it takes about 3 years, I think, for the first lot to be made. But I've got 3 years worth now, so I've got a 3-year batch, a 2-year batch, and a 1-year batch. So every year it just gets cycled round. So this year was the first year I've been using the proper homemade leaf mold, and it is marvelous stuff. It is so nice.
Well, Mark, I was always under the impression that it didn't have much nutrients in it. It's good texture-wise, you know what I mean, and great for like adding to beds. But have you planted stuff in it? Have you?
Well, I did. I had loads of little turnips. Right, so my plot neighbour goes, "Do you want some turnips?" Goes, "Oh yeah, please." I thought just a few. She brings out this tray, and I kid you not, I said, "How many's in there?" She goes, "Oh, well, I'll just put the whole packet of seeds in." There must be like 200 turnip seedlings in this tray. What the hell am I going to do with this? So I put them all at the bed, you know, because when somebody gives you seeds, somebody gives you plants, I'm always like, I've got to look after them so much better than my own because somebody's getting the stuff. So it goes, we'll get the good leaf mold out, we'll put it in, and I put them all in, beautiful. Came back a week later, the slugs. There's must be about 3 of them left, honestly, through the whole lot of them. What a
I was
mess.
just about to say that I really love leaf mold. Like, it's great stuff, but I find it's absolutely riddled with slug and snail eggs. So when you use it, but what's in it isn't nutrient so much. It's is it like the silica in it, which is what gives improves the ability of your soil to hold on to the nutrients.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it does improve the nutrients overall, but not by adding it itself, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you say, like a
I used it
texture thing.
I used it about 3 years ago, and it breaks down into lovely stuff. But that's that was a one-off chance I could get all these leaves, because you need bloody wagon loads of them. You know what I mean? You kind of think you've got way too many, and then it's like, is that it?
It makes a good video in the winter as well. You know, when there's not much to film in the winter, leaf mold's a good one.
Well, Mark, I found someone dumped some actual leaves, and they were like compressed and stuck together, so there was it was almost like paper. But I put them on 2 beds, and they've been, if not the best, one of the best beds for damp, and like past the strush and everything like that. There's still no weeds coming up through them, and I put it on 2 beds, and it's just now it looks like as if a good wind would blow them off, but they're still there. They don't get blown off. You know what I mean?
So is that in the autumn you put them down?
I can't remember when I did it, to be honest. No, it wouldn't have been autumn. It would have been, because they were they must have been shoveled up by someone, and there was a good, say, 5 or 6 barrel loads, even more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was, so it was like there was loads of leaves just like compressed. So there must have been a ton of leaves at the beginning.
Yeah.
But it just smothered everything when it's, so the top layer is all like curled and crunchy. So there must be still, you know what I mean? So
maybe you should try your carrots in that bed.
I know. Already, I've just put some carrots in a couple of buckets, and that's me. That's it now.
That's enough.
If I can bring them home, cross the finishing line, I'll be happy. But
okay,
you know what I mean? Right now, this is a nice one to talk about. Nasty neighbours, bad neighbours. Have we got any bad neighbours? Now, I want to show this. I don't know. Mark's getting a bit kind of
just getting ready in my chair.
Right, well, Mark kindly sends. Now, I don't know if he was kind of knew would bring this up too much, but if I can just bring it up. Mark sent.
Oh, pictures and everything.
Yeah,
show and tell.
So, Mark, can you just tell? This looks a lovely picture of an allotment.
It is.
Can you just take the story away for her, please?
So, I think I said before, my allotment, there's loads of allotments. There's like 220 plots or something there. So there's loads of people. And everybody is really, really nice. Lovely. I've never met anybody nasty, nothing like that.
He's trying to cover his backside now.
Yeah.
But this we're a private site, so we're managed by the garden centre. So there's a garden centre and there's the allotments out the back. And we don't have much to do with each other. Like, we pay our money, they provide us with water and the allotments, and that's about the only relationship you've got with the garden centre. They have nothing to do with us, we have nothing to do with them, and it works really well. Now, there was a person, so that plot you can see in front of you there with the grey and the blue shed on it, there's a person there, and I don't know the full story. There's always 2 sides to every story, and they're falling out with the people of the garden centre, and I don't know why. There was shouting. There was
yourself. Come on,
well, there was name calling. There was shouting. There was talk of solicitors and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, "What's going on here?" And anyway, I was up there on Saturday, and so you can see my shadow there where I'm taking the picture. So pretty much where I'm standing there, my plot is right there, just behind where I stand. So I'm right next to this. And I was speaking to the person getting evicted. Oh, I've given it away. And the person was saying they're getting evicted on the Saturday night. I say, oh no, that's terrible. Just trying to be nice. So hope you get on and all that. And I was just watering my plants, mind my own business, went home, and I came back on Sunday. So Sunday morning, I'm usually up there Sunday morning doing my jobs. And I had a look. I was like, because she said she was going to take all her stuff, and I thought, all right, take all your stuff, fair enough. You take your wheelbarrow, take your tools and all that. But she's taking the fence. Like, you can see the line of the path there. So that's a communal path. and I'm pointing at the screen here, see if you can all see what I'm pointing at. But like where I'm standing there, that's the communal path that goes all the way up to the end there. You can see somebody's green fence just at the end. And that's my plot neighbours just to the left there where the fence is. But she's taken the entire fence from all the way around the plot and just taken it away. I mean, of all the things to do and to take, that is that's up there, mind.
What I kind of are them her huts as well, and is that a compost bin there?
It's a compost bin, so that's hers there. So you see where the fence post is?
Yeah,
just immediately on the left. So everything sort of you can see beyond that. That's her bit there, the 2 huts and the compost bin and whatnot.
So she didn't take her sheds?
No, the sheds were there when she's only been there. I think this is her 2nd year. So there was a lovely young couple. There's 2 plots there, which is why there's 2 sheds. So there's a lovely young couple that had that plot, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely immaculate. But I think one of them got a job in London, and they moved away down south. And this person came along and took them over. And to be fair, she was doing a grand job, put a lovely little pond and all that in. It was looking smashing. And then just fallen out. But the huts belonged to the allotments. So originally, when the allotments were built, every plot had a hut and a fence, and it was all sorted out. So if you see ones like that, that's the original huts from about 20 years ago. I know, wow. Drama. I just like to go up there and do my thing. I don't even know how you can get that much drama. You know, like I say, with the garden centre, we have nothing to do with them. And I don't know.
Because don't you think where there's people, there's drama? I mean, given the right personalities, like there's just drama.
And where there's some people, there's always drama.
Right. Some people, I think, bring it with them.
Drama magnets.
Yes. And they like to stir up the pot a little bit. And you're like, why?
Everybody's so lovely. Like the fence you can just see the edge of there, John and Evie, who own that plot, they've been there from the start. And honestly, Evie was the one who gave me all the turnips. Like, you couldn't wish for like nicer, more friendly plot neighbours. And then I've got Charlie, who's up from us, who's a retired fireman. And then I've got Dita, who's a photographer on the other side there. And they're all absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was quite sad. I was speaking to the wife and I said, it's quite sad that it's actually come to this, that somebody's got evicted. You know, that all communication, like everything is just broken down between them and the garden centre. And they couldn't solve the problem. Because like I say, the person who had it wasn't like she'd just like, there was loads of weeds and stuff. It's a beautiful plot. There's all grass paths and say like a little pond and all the beds and stuff were done like that. It was beautiful. It's a bit sad, isn't it, that it comes to that?
I'm trying to think what could have caused it. Do you know what I mean? It could be umpteen things. I'm just looking if that's her garden there. And you're saying the garden centre doesn't really get involved, but there's like, so I'm guessing that they wouldn't mind ferns or like making it like a little wildlife garden.
Nothing. Nah, I mean there's a list of rules that we all sign up to, and they're not like onerous. You know, it says things like you can't have chickens and pets and stuff like that, which is fair enough. Some plots do, some don't. It says like you can't have a greenhouse or you can't have a fire. But generally, if you go and speak to them and say, I want to put in a greenhouse, they'll be like, oh yeah, just be careful with the glass and stuff like that. We don't want it like flying away and smashing and things like that. They're pretty good. So I don't know what could have caused it, like just for it to get that bad that somebody's been kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment that the word like solicitor is mentioned, you know, it's all like,
I couldn't believe it.
We have, I mean, without like going into any detail, we have.
Come on, Jess, come on.
Really, no, because then it will be my ass being sued. But we have 2 people on our plot who, the moment anything happens, it's instantly, I'm getting legal representation. Like for the most minor thing, and it puts everybody on edge. Everybody's scared to say anything or do anything because it's just like this like instant response, and it makes a really awful feeling. But the moment that somebody does something like that, like the garden centre wouldn't have a choice. If it's her who's thrown that around, well then they need to get her off there as soon as possible because she's dangerous.
Aye. No, definitely. But like I've spoken to her a few times, and she'd been lovely. She'd always been nice and friendly to be in that. But you're right. As soon as she'd said I'd heard, solicitors and stuff, I was like, I'm nowhere near this. I'm well out of this. Nothing to do with me.
So was she bringing in solicitors, or was it?
Yes, yeah. She'd been getting legal advice apparently about. I don't know what about.
Wow.
Who knows? But honestly, for it to come to that, for what's meant to be, it's somewhere you go to enjoy. It's your little bit of paradise. It's your, when I'm working day in, day out, you go there for a bit of peace and quiet, a bit of relaxation, and then you've got this drama going on. It's just like, nah, I want nothing to do with this.
I guess, though, all this bluff about solicitors hasn't paid off for her. This, because she's gone, they've evicted her. So...
Well, I guess that's the thing. We all, at the start of the year, so that they made a thing of it this year, because the one problem we do have on the site is we've got a sort of organic dumping ground. So when you take all the weeds out and stuff like that, we go and dump it. And then the garden centre come along once a year, take it all away. Digger comes along, sort all the banks out, and then it's made. Now, some people dump their rubbish there, like plastic bags and bits of all this and that. And it's like, it's a bit of a problem sometimes. So we were all made to re-sign the rules this year that say, don't dump your plastic crap in the thing, just use organic matter. So everyone signed all the rules. So I guess if you've signed them and then you've contravened them and you've been warned and told or whatever. But like I said, I don't know the full story about what's gone on, what's caused the problem.
Do you think that might have been the cause then, Mark?
Nah, she's not like that. The lady who was she was organising a skip to get loads of rubbish taken away.
Right.
So she got a skip in and said to other plot holders around and about, if you want to chuck like a tenner in or whatever like that, we'll arrange a day and we all just put our rubbish all in the skip all on the same day. So she's nothing like that. It's not.
So what's she going to do with our fence?
I don't know.
She's got probably a yard full of some old fence. You know what I mean?
I know. And it must have been cut to size though as well. It's all cut to the right height for the allotment.
I was going to say that. Is it? Has she just cut it off, Mark? Are the bases still in from the posts, or has she took the whole?
I was too scared. That's as far as I went. You see where I'm stood there? It's as far as I went. I wasn't going any further. I was too frightened.
Wow.
I know. Drama.
We have never... There's nothing like that happened with us, or I've never heard of it, you know what I mean? And I'm kind of up there most times. So
it's just bizarre. Like you say, to get to that stage. It's just, I don't know.
I mean, I think, I think some people sometimes use that solicitor thing, but if it crunch came to the crunch and someone actually said, all right then, we'll go to court because it'll cost you a fortune, you know what I mean? Have you got the, you know what I mean? So Audrey, that'll not have happened in Detroit, has it not? That leafy suburb of where you live.
Would a neighbor ever sue a neighbor? I'm sure it has happened.
Yeah, just like being a little bit petty. Anything like that happened in your kind of?
No, I have the two kindest neighbors ever. Like, they're just lovely people, and they're young, and they have little ones, and it's just, I feel like we found the honeypot here. So there could be all kinds of drama going on at the other end of the block. It's not happening up here. So that's all I know.
What would happen to Audrey if their little, them little kids, their footballs came over, them soccer balls came over, and
I would say, honey, do you want me to kick that back, or are you going to come get it? No, they're adorable. I would never say that. I would say, oh, come here, Lee, bring it to me. Let me see it. Yeah.
Yeah, come here.
No, they're not. And they're kind of the ages of my two grandsons. So I kind of get to live through another baby that is not mine, but is very close. So yeah, I don't mind the little people. What?
No, that's good. That's good.
Says the man with 4 dogs. I'm like, what are you talking about?
What? Yeah. Come here. Whoa. It might be me in the village. Yeah. Who is that cracker jack with the 4 freaking Dobermans picking up? Wow.
You look like a professional dog walker, probably, while you're taking them all for a walk.
Well, mind you, it's like now it's like like Prince is like big now. The puppy will kind of babysit 2 days a week. I've told my daughter to, so it's both me and my wife have got to go, and it's like herding cats. Luckily, we've got like moorland where we can kind of walk them, but it's a practiced art. I've now had to get like a bag. I've got like a side bag, and I've filled with balls, and I've got like a proper little, very short lead, just like because daisies are a wicked thing. Sometimes daisy, you know what I mean. So I can get her on that there, get a ball, go get, you know what I mean, pass another dog. So, Jess, how would you feel if a football landed on something prized? Are you quite calm for your fellow gardeners, people, or would that really upset you?
I mean, it does depend if you like them or not. Like,
well, you have that school right next to you.
Yeah,
No,
and
that's a whole different.
In the past, that school used to be full of absolute little shit bags. Like, it was a really awful school, and they smashed our greenhouse twice intentionally. You know, like throwing stuff over the fence. And in that case,
that's a whole different ball. Yeah.
But we do get a lot of cricket balls over because we've got the cricket nets right next to us, and I don't mind if they're just practicing. But and at home, like, I mean, I won't use jesters, but one side I wouldn't mind if they kicked a football over. The other side I would mind, but that's like just because of personal, not because of what it would damage.
Does cricket balls come and hit off your polytunnel or your greenhouse or anything, or in the hens or anything?
Well, I mean, I've never really seen one come over, but you do see them in the plot. Like, you're doing something, and it's like, and in fact, like last year. Was it last year or the year before? I can't remember which. I did an Easter egg hunt on the video, and so I had all these plastic eggs like hidden around the place and with letters on them. And so many people were like, "Oh, I saw 2 Easter eggs without any letters on. I wonder if they were like gaps." And it wasn't. They were just cricket balls in the that I hadn't seen, placed around. So they're kind of just dotted in the beds all over the place. But
I was hoping there was not like the case of like 2 hens' feet sticking up with a cricket ball next to you. No. Mind you, when I put my polytunnel up, I've got like an allotment, like the grassy allotment next to me is like all I've got from the school, from a wall that's like the kids walk from the school to wherever. And I was thinking, because it's a 9 foot tall, like that's such a in my day I would have, look at that, man, sugar bloody, you know what I mean? It's kind of, it's such a that would be, let's say if a stone bounces or goes through, do you know what I mean? But again, touch wood, nothing like that's happens, you know what I mean? So Mark, do you get anything? I mean, you are the drama centre of today's show. Do you know what I mean? But do you get any? There's anything else, or is it normally just?
No, nothing. Our site's quite rural, so to get from where I stay in the town in Linlithgow, you've really got to drive out to our site. You could cycle, but the road's a bit sketchy with some of the traffic and things like that. But you've got to go right out of town along the wee road. And then there's a garden centre, and then there's a cafe next door. Other than that, there's nothing there. There's no houses like nearby or anything like that. So there's no foot traffic. Nobody's walking past. There's no kids. There's nothing like that. It's really quite rural, so it's quite good from that point of view.
I wonder why the garden centre, is it profitable for them, or is it a bit of a ball?
Well, if you've got 220-ish plots, and you charge people £130 a year for a plot, do the maths. It's pretty decent return.
And it's steady, you know what I mean? Because everyone wants a...
Exactly. There's hardly any, I think there's a waiting list.
Right.
And the only thing they do, they give us water, so we've got taps dotted about, which is good, and we get 10% discount in the garden centre. If you want to go and buy stuff, you get 10% off, which is good.
And in the cafe, do you get your scones? That's all right then, as long as you get your scones.
Facilities. So if you want to go and use the toilet or something like that, you can pop in and use the facilities and things. That's always quite handy.
I mean, to be fair, if they're getting a decent, or not decent, but a stable, reliable income on that bit of land, and they're in the middle of nowhere, but they've moved in 220 people who want to use their shop right next door.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Well, you see garden centres these days, you go to Dobbies, and it's like they've all had to diversify. It's not just a garden centre, is it? It's like a there's the Sainsbury's bit or whatever where they sell all the food, and then they sell the books and the jumpers and the shoes and the this and the that.
Fish tanks and
and when you go to a garden centre at Christmas, it's like Santa's Wonderland, isn't it? Like,
awful.
So, Mark, are they a good garden centre then for you as an allotment grower? Do they give you like the veg and that? Do they grow their own veg for you, like seedlings?
It's all right. It's not bad. It's not the biggest garden centre in the world. It's a bit of a sort of a little bit old fashioned. Imagine like a normal 80s style garden centre.
Right.
It's all right. It's got everything I need. If I need anything in an emergency or that, I can just pop in. You know, if you run out like fish blood and bone, or if you need some gloves or whatever you need, you just pop in and get it. It's dead handy.
That's really good.
It's really, really useful. And it's like you say, you can walk 2 minutes from my plot into the front door of the garden centre, get what you want, and just take the trolley around with all your stuff in it.
That would be handy just to pop in for like a scone and a coffee every day. You know,
Could be dangerous as well, though.
No.
You know, all that garden centre stuff right in your doorstep is a bit risky.
Oh, I know. Anything else? Are we kind of Well, you will keep Mark updated if there's any gossip comes back.
Gossip, I'll
we'll need an update on
posted
it
as to what happens. Yeah, I might go and have a look and see if there's any stuff. Yeah,
I mean,
It looks like in the picture, it looks like there's 3 pallets just lying there.
Well, you can get them from the garden centre. So at the back of the garden centre, where you get to the
God.
allotments, they put all their pallets out. So you just go and get the pallets that you want, and you can use them for whatever you
that is
want.
the stuff dreams are made of. I have to fight. I'm actually considering buying pallets at the moment.
Oh wow!
But I mean, the allotment is so close to my house, but you can't get a car up there. Like the 2 pathways is like at least a 5-minute walk either direction. So and one's up a hill and one's through a graveyard. So there's obstacles on both sides. So getting pallets up to the allotment is just struggle. Imagine them just being 2 minutes round the corner, at the other centres.
And the words though, Jess, as well. Oh yeah, just help yourself.
Oh,
Pile. It's a never-ending pile as well. They're always putting new ones out. Loads of them.
Do they ever come and inspect, Mark? Do they ever come down and
every now and again? They're not too strict. Like there's a few plots that have got loads of weeds on them and stuff like that. I think they're getting better with it. I think they're starting to get on top of it. But was it last week I saw the manageress and a sort of sidekick doing the rounds around the plots having a look, but it started raining, so off they went. I ran inside the polytunnel, they ran off inside the garden centre. But yeah, they come round every now and again, have a sort of look about, make sure nobody's doing anything that they shouldn't do. But it's pretty easy. Just pay them my money, go up, do my thing, don't fall out with them.
Do you have water, like mains water?
Yeah, I'm lucky. I've got a tap right outside my plot, so the sort of shared tap between however many plots is just outside my gate, so it's dead easy for filling the watering cans and whatnot.
I'm just looking there, Mark. Is that where the fence was? Are them stones she's put down all the way along?
She must have put those stones down.
Right, that would be a bit of a pain to get shift. You know what I mean? Because
imagine if somebody wants to put a new fence in and it's just all full of stones.
What I mean, I can't see the point of that. You know what I mean? Because weeds are going to grow through it. It's just we're going to like bind it up and be a nightmare. So
with a bit of luck, somebody will come and take it on. Man. You know. Because if they leave it,
burning to know, Tony.
I know. I was going to say somebody dug their heels in.
Big gossip.
And but I bet someone, maybe she dug her heels in, or maybe the garden center did. So that's usually it. When you get an ultimatum, somebody threatens and walks away. Well,
that's it. When it's a private thing as well, it's not like it's like a local authority or a council run site where there's a bit of. You can argue a bit, you can have a bit of to and fro or whatever. It's like this is a private garden centre, private business. Off you go, evicted. See it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Keep you informed, or keep informed. That'll be nice.
I bet you'll get new plot people there pretty quick if there's a waiting list.
I hope so as well, because like I say, it's a lovely plot and it's got like grass paths and things like that. So if it's left any length of time at this time of year, it's just going to. There'll be weeds.
Right, and we're still at the beginning of the year, so they could have a garden.
Loads of time. Loads of time.
Yeah.
Well, I want to just
know.
before we shoot off, give another shout out to Grown Local. Ian has got a competition there where you can win the quad grows and everything like that. So there will be a link in the descriptions. Please pop over. It's free to enter as well, and you could win a nice big set of quad grows. Mark, have you got any? Have you? You've just mentioned before. You've got the quad
Yeah,
grows.
and again, a shout out to Ian. I said to Ian, "Have you got them in stock?" He said, "Yeah," and I paid for them. I didn't get them free, and I bought one of the 8 quad grow sets, dispatched straight away, delivered next day. There it is. I mean, they're pretty big, but I tell you that competition though is, I noticed like the top prize is the 8 quad grows. It's not just a small set; it's the full thing. That's a decent.
Yeah.
I've got a set of 8 sitting in my shed, like waiting to go. I've just got to clear enough space in the greenhouse.
Bigger than you think.
Done, and then clear the space in the greenhouse so that I can set them up, and I'm really excited about it. I've never used anything like that before.
No, me
I
neither.
know what I wanted to say. You know, last week we were discussing green towers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I've seen the picture.
Yeah, Audrey, you know, were they called green? It was
Green
tower?
stalks. Green stalks.
That was it. Yeah. So literally, after we'd finished chatting, I had to run up to the allotment to grab something, and I got up there, and on our corner, that is like I've got this junk. Does anybody else want it? There was stackable 3-way pots,
Brilliant.
just waiting there for me. It's like somebody knew what was going on. Although the video hadn't actually come out yet, so it wasn't an inside job. And I just sat there. So yeah, I mean, they're not anywhere near as fancy as like the proper green stalk, but it's like 7 pots high. So it's not bad. It's about like
meant to be
3 and a bit foot. So yeah, I'm well excited. I want to do. Because
How
you're doing lettuce, are you, Audrey? Did you say lettuce and strawberries?
I'm doing herbs in one, lettuce in one, strawberries in another.
Oh wow!
I know what Tony's going to say.
I know. No, I'm not.
Herbs.
Mark. I'm not going to bite. No. You know what I mean? It's like it's Queen's English. She's cocking up there, messing up. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, herb is dude, and herbs are culinary spices.
How long, Audrey, can you leave? That's what I was thinking. You know what I mean? Because you know what I'm like. It's like, oh, I see something shiny, and I'll just spend my money and get it. How long? But the idea for me is though with the quad grows, which is actually worked out exactly 14 days this time where I hadn't watered, so it was 14 days before the water. So how long can you leave them in an average? Could you leave them a week? You know, because they've got like a little reservoir on the top, haven't they?
Yeah, but that flows through really quick.
Right.
That's the point. That's the I have an irrigation system to attach to mine this year, so I'll put it on an automatic timer, and it will just get watered.
Right.
Which will be because normally in our heat, I have to water at least once a day, sometimes twice, depending on how hot it gets.
And do they get like top heavy or like unsteady? Because they seem tall, and I was just thinking if wind blows, are they a bit kind of fickle like that? Or
I have never had one topple over, and mine are all on casters, so they can be turned and moved. Yeah, no, I've never had that, but I'm sure it could, depending on how high the wind is. Yeah.
So Jess, will yours be down at home or at the allotment? Are you going to set that up?
They'll be at the allotment, and I'm going to put them on. I've got like one of those like casters, but like a pot mover standard thing,
right?
Like that.
Right.
And I've tested it out, and it wheels fine over the floor that I've got in the greenhouse now. So yeah, I'm going to have it in the corner of the greenhouse, so it can be turned. Because like what you were saying, when you can turn it round, like that seemed like really sensible.
Oh yeah, because you don't want, no matter where you put it, the sun is going to be stronger.
Exactly. So I'm going to have it on on a spinny. I'm going to have to attach them because they don't clip together properly. They do have a little ridge where they sit on top of each other really nicely, but I've already knocked it over about 5 times, and it just goes like, you know, like a Lego.
Are they full of dirt yet, or
nothing yet? So that will.
I think once they get dirt in them, they will be a lot heavier and probably less likely to do that.
How big? Sorry, Maud. I was jumping. How big is one section? Are they a nice size, Jess? Or are they just these like
it's
tiny?
Not huge. It's not huge, but I would say probably each. So there's like obviously a 3-way thing, and I'd say each one is probably a 3-litre pot, 2-litre pot.
Right.
Okay.
If you were to cut it off from the rest, maybe 3 litres if you were to cut it off. So it's like, a whole series of little 3-litre pots.
Man.
So it's not, I wouldn't be able to grow anything massive in there, but I am thinking about drilling out the centre so that I can attach it, cable tie it all the way up the middle, and then putting capillary matting down the bottom into a
Right.
That's a good
reservoir,
idea.
so that it sucks the water up into the
Wow.
pot. That's what I'm
Man.
thinking of doing.
Sounds
And
good.
it was free.
And it was free.
Yeah, there's a plus right there.
It was just
Mine
the
is-
timing of it as well. It's literally
What?
we finished this and I walked up the road and I was like, what is this?
And was everything there, Jess? Because Audrey's on about like it's got like some sort of like thing you put on the top as like a
So
trough,
this is not a green stalk.
right?
It's some kind of stackable tripod system in a
Right.
similar vein. But no,
Yeah.
it's got no kind of added bits and pieces to it. It is just 7 or 8 stackable.
Yeah, you have to water each pot itself.
Yeah.
So there's not like a way for it to drip down and
No,
Right.
there's no kind of internal anything.
Right.
It's just these pots. But I reckon I can rig something up to make it.
but
Make it work.
their footprint is got to be quite small. Like what, 2 feet square or 2.5 feet square?
I would say it's 2 foot. Yeah, maybe slightly under 2 foot. Yeah, no, 2
Okay,
foot.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not huge.
because the
Um,
green stalk is a 3 foot square.
They're big. Yeah, it's
They're
not as big. It's
They're
not as
big.
big as a green stalk.
Mhm.
no.
That has to be the find of the year, though, Jess. That. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Oh, for
Just
free.
the timing. It was
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I've
Nice.
I've grown
Looking down me, I thought somebody had set me up. Like,
So it was, and nearly knocked me bloody glass over there. It was just the pile. It's not 2 piles. 1 pile. I'm just getting this for me garden, and then there's another pile there for you have got.
no,
It was just on someone's
No,
plot.
it was definitely.
Yeah.
It was definitely. There's like different patches where people leave things if they're like dragging stuff up to the allotment. And I saw them and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I stacked it all up really quickly. You know, when you're really excited about a find, it's like quick, like hoarding. So I stacked it all up really fast and ran it down to the allotment and put it in mine. And then I walked up thinking, oh my God, maybe I've just nicked somebody's.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Imagine someone turning up, saying the same words as you, Jess. You've got to be kidding me. I've just left it here. I've just left the thing here.
When I went back to check, like they'd left lots of other stuff as well. So it was like a whole load of different types of pots and all bits and pieces.
I can see if this goes wrong, someone else getting evicted from this allotment. Yeah, man, like you say, timing perfect, especially because the show hadn't gone out. So
No, so nobody can have seen it or
Mhm.
anything. It was probably about 15 minutes after we hung up, having talked
Wow.
about it. It was like,
fab.
That's awesome.
Well, listen, big thank you for coming on News 3 there today. That's been lovely, and thank you everyone for watching as well. Jesse, where are you?
at Plot 37,
Plot 37.
plot37.com. I'm doing a lot of work on the website at the moment, so that should be kind of changing soon. And YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon.
There you go. Audrey, where can we find?
Real Food Comes Dirty. YouTube, Instagram.com.
There we go. I'll have to ask you about
And Potty Mouth Garden Club.
Very Well Garden Club. Yeah.
My recommendation, I've recently discovered your database, Audrey. So anybody who's interested, go and have a look because
I know.
it's absolutely incredible. Just like,
Just keeps on going, doesn't it? It just keeps on going.
And I'm a little behind with putting things on, so I have a
yeah,
pile
go
of
and have a
seeds
look
here.
at it.
I know. No, I get inspired and I'm like, who's growing that? I'm like, oh my gosh, this is me. I'm growing that. Yeah, when you put a picture to it, it just makes
it's
it all come
Yeah,
alive.
it's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
And Morgan, where can we find? Where's the troubled gardener?
Mama.
Should we call it?
Oh, well, you'll find it at Mark's Allotment Plot on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
Oh,
For the kids,
Sort
oh,
himself out.
the controversial TikTok. Okay.
Actually, it's getting banned in your neck of the
I
woods.
know. Well,
Yeah.
they keep talking about it. Who knows? But,
Yeah. Mhm.
you know, once it gets to the politicians, I'm like, don't even talk to me about it. Just give me a yes or a no. Thank you.
Mhm. Right then, look after yourselves, everyone. Jess, Audrey, Mark, thank you very much. Take
Have
care,
a good
everyone.
week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.